Um, my name is Deborah, and it's 11 o'clock-ish, and it's Wednesday, and that means it's time for Elevenses with the Reps at Diesel Bookstore. Welcome, everybody. If you're joining us for the first time, which you may be, since we're on a new platform here, every Wednesday we get together here at 11 o'clock-ish, and we meet with our absolutely wonderful publishers representatives and our booksellers, and we talk about all of the incredible new, just released, about to be released, recently released, sometimes some old favorites. Books is what I'm saying. We talk about books that you want to know about, and that you will want to purchase, and for yourself, for gifts, and read. And we have our professionals, our fabulous professionals who take their time every week and present their fantastic books for us. So we are switching platforms a little bit. Here we have, we're on the Riverside platform now, which is a little more nimble than where we've been. So I hopefully, if you were watching us on our previous crowdcast, you've moved over and see us now. But if you're here for the first time, welcome. Thank you for joining us. You can always watch replays of these Elevenses broadcasts, podcasts, whatever they are, on our website, which is www.dieselbookstore.com. And we have all of the information over there for you. All right, let me introduce our terrific reps, so we can get going talking about books is why we're actually here today. So, starting off, we have Julia Callahan from Hachette, and we have the wonderful Dave Ehrlich from Chronicle Books as well, joining us today. And since there are only two of them, we usually have a few more. They get to do extra books, which is very exciting. So why don't we, oh, and then behind the scenes, of course, we have Joey, and Joey provides all the technical support, the production, and occasionally interjects with some important information that we need to know. All right. Julia, why don't you get us started off?
Okay, I'm starting off with a big one today. This came out yesterday. This is Leigh Bardugo's The Invisible Parade. And I think a lot of people know Leigh Bardugo as a novelist. She usually writes young adult, sort of upper young adult novels. The Ninth House is one of her ones. And she has come out with this just amazing book, The Invisible Parade. This is so stunningly beautiful. It is a children's book, but it's a little bit more written than children's books, and it's a Dia de los Muertos story of a young girl who sort of encounters her grandparents, and the original pitch for it was the Wizard of Oz set in a graveyard. That she with the illustrations, if Joey can get those up, or I can actually share my screen and show you some of
let's do a share screen. That'll
yeah help. And I'll show you some of the interiors of this, because it is absolutely incredible. Hang on, let's get this, share the right thing. So the illustrations are just absolutely incredible. Here you can see
wow,
just so lush, stunning. They sort of get brighter and more colorful. This you can see the Mexican pastries, all that kind of stuff, and then it gets really really sort of lush. And the colors. This is a fold out and a gatefold spread that I think is just stunning. But anyway, so this is The Invisible Parade by Leigh Bardugo. The illustrator is a well-known illustrator, John Picacio. And it got starred reviews in Publishers Weekly, Krokus, Book List. It's an Indie Next Pick. It's just sort of excitement about it across the board. And I think Leigh Bardugo, if you're a fan of Leigh Bardugo, it's a great thing to visit. I feel like even though it is a kid's picture book, it appeals to adults as well. So it's sort of for everyone.
I think this is going to have a tremendous amount of crossover appeal for adults,
Yeah.
young adults, and kids across the board. It's Leigh Bardugo has a huge fan base, number one, and that'll, I think, readers of her books will want to pick this up, whether or not they're in that age group. That number two, it's like an absolutely gorgeous book. And third, I really love that we're getting, it feels like every spooky season, we're getting more Day of the Dead, really creative Day of the Dead oriented books,
Yeah.
which I love. We always did a Day of the Dead display in the bookstore, which is always fun. And some of these books are absolutely amazing. They're gorgeous, and these are fantastic illustrations. And I think that this book's going to be a huge seller and have huge appeal. It's gorgeous. I know I
Yeah.
want one, so
I know.
gotta have one. Excellent. Thank you, Julia. All right, Dave.
Okay, cool. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody. Hello, new platform. Glad to be here. I'm going to start off today with The Great Gatsby, Cook the Book, and also read the book, because what this is a interesting combination of both the complete novel of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. You get the full text of the book, but then as you're reading the book and you get to a passage where the characters are at a soiree, as they're eating, as they're drinking, as they're doing anything relating to food or drink, you will get, well, I guess I'll show you the amazing paper mechanics here. You get a little vellum envelope. It wouldn't be a Chronicle book without a little paper craft and little lovely device. You pull the card out of the vellum envelope when you reach the passage that mentions the food, and you get a recipe card, and they're done in this beautiful, colorful little deco style. The quote from the back of the book, oh, thank you for showing the cover. Quote from the back of the book is on the back of the recipe card. You open it. This one is for deviled eggs, 2 ways. Both ways are correct. You can't go wrong with a deviled egg. And you basically get a little recipe, you get a little background, and they tell you about the inspiration of the food in the book. A quick little history. Deviled Eggs 2 Ways, inspired by West Egg, one of the locations, East and West Egg in the book, where Nick spends his summer and Gatsby's mansion presides, and East Egg, the fancier enclave across the Sound. Here are 2 versions of deviled eggs. If you lose these or they go out of sequence, as they have in my sales appointments, they're pretty easy to put back into the vellum envelopes and figure out where they go in the run of the book, because the text is highlighted to match the recipe card. So, that's basically it. The recipes range from appetizer-y things, like I said, like deviled eggs. There is a little, where did I put the fried chicken card? There's a fried chicken card to make fried chicken. There's, of course, oysters. That's hard to say. Of course, oysters. Oysters Rockefeller, of course. We've also got, which one is this? Daisy's Mint Julep. Very cool. And so it immerses you in the world of the book. And it's a way to read the book and have like kind of an added dimension to celebrate. All the recipes kind of focus on that decadence of the 20s. These are things that you can serve at a party if you want to do like a Gatsby themed soiree this year to celebrate the 100th anniversary. And the book is just beautiful. Foil accents all over it. It's got this very neat spined, kind of hinged spine that I like quite a bit. And it's just a gorgeous package. Nice like deco details and end papers. Typical classic Chronicle paper craftsmanship and packaging appeal. And that is Great Gatsby, Cook the Book.
All right. I have some things to say about, about but and all of them are very positive. It's really a fun. I mean, okay, on the surface, the Gatsby is kind of sacrosanct. I mean, how can you put like little envelopes with recipes in it? It seems kind of kitschy. I mean, it might seem kitschy to some people. That's in the public domain, The Great Gatsby now. So there's all kinds of different designs, and anyone's free to sort of adapt it in packaging the way they want. But this really works. It really works. It's really great. Their whole novel is there. You can read it again, and it's just it really adds it adds something to it. It is sure it's a little gifty, or I don't know, not but it works, and it's great. And I was super. I have a copy, and I don't want to take it out of the plastic.
Leaving it sealed. I think it is gimmicky, but I don't mean that as a negative. Like, of course it's a gimmick, 'cause
Right.
every book needs a
Right.
hook, and I think it pays tribute to, and it keeps the flavor, so to speak,
So
of
to speak.
of the book and of the time and of the period. And I think because the recipes are oriented around entertaining and these
Yeah.
soirees and things that are happening in the book, it doesn't feel arbitrary. It makes sense in the world of what you're reading.
Absolutely, it totally works, and it's really an absolutely beautiful book, and I think we'll make a great gift, as well as something that you want to have yourself, and double. It's a double. It's the book, and it's these recipes, which are real recipes. So it's a fun book, and here's Nina wants to know if are there other cook the book. Because
I
that is a great idea. I love
believe
it.
we're planning more, and I can't say for sure yet, but I believe that's going to be a thing. So
Mm,
keep an eye out.
Great. Great. Public domain. There could be some really interesting there could be some really interesting books
Put
in
my,
that
put my
in
mind
that
to
group.
that. What could that
Yeah.
be? Yeah.
Already thinking. All right, great. Thank you, Dave. All right, Julia, back to you.
All right, well, that's a tough act to follow, but my next book is called Moonflow by Bitter Karella. And this is a horror novel. This one also has a starred um, Publishers Weekly review, and this one is it is like I'll preface this by saying this is a weird horror novel, but it's fun as well. So Bitter Karella is a 3-time Hugo Award nominee. And this is their first horror novel. It's this like queer, it revolves around a trans woman, and she is a mushroom grower, and her mushrooms are not growing very well, and she is like looking for, as her mushrooms stop growing very well, she is also looking for this like very rare mushroom called a king's breakfast. I am going to introduce you perhaps to a term. Maybe I'm not introducing you, but maybe I am. The term is called sporer, which is like mushroom horror or spore horror. So if you watch The Last of Us on HBO, that is a sporer, and this is like a genre of horror that a lot of people are seemingly into, because of course, like, fungi and the interconnectedness of it all is like actually quite fascinating. And so this mushroom grower, she ends up sort of like going into this spore, like forbidden spore um, realm, and has to like commune with the universe in order to like guide herself back to safety, and get herself sort of like back to growing mushrooms. And it's queer, it's weird, it's irreverent, it's fun to read, it's also very scary. But this is Moonflow by Bitter Karella, and you're hard pressed to find a more original novel right now. I think it is just an utter experience to read. Yeah, I think you guys will like it. It's really fun.
I actually started having a look at this, Julia, and
Yeah.
okay, there's a word for it. It's not coming to me at the moment. A mushroom enthusiast. Not, I
Yes.
just like to read about mushrooms. I like to look at pictures of the different mushroom, all of that stuff. Big on whenever we do a mushroom display, like they all just go. Dave has a new book, which I'm sure he'll talk about at some point, which is a mushroom cookbook, which is outstanding. Anyway, so I was immediately attracted to this book, and I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I have like got a toe in, and it's really different. It
Yeah.
really is, which is wonderful because it's very difficult to find a completely original novel these days, right? So
Definitely.
whenever there is something that really takes genres or content or whatever it is, and turns it inside out, I'm all for it. So highly recommended, I think, at
Yeah.
least as far as I've gotten with it. So very very entertaining.
Yeah.
Thanks, Julia.
Good thing.
Back to you, Dave.
Okay. By sheer coincidence, I also have a Dia de Muertos book today, and that book is coming out next Tuesday. This is from Hardy Grant, one of our lovely distributed imprints at Chronicle, and this is Mexico's Day of the Dead by Luisa Navarro. Photos by Christina Chitnis. And this is a really gorgeous coffee table book. Hello, stamped edge, love it. Big, nice, bold, oversized book, great embossed cover, celebrating the traditions, all the elements of, and how the Day of the Dead is celebrated throughout regions of Mexico. The book features personal stories, interviews, recipes, tutorials, and photos from all these different regions that all celebrate this. And celebrate is the key word here. Dia de Muertos is not the Mexican Halloween, as it's generally misperceived. It is more of a celebration of the dead. It is split into different days. Some days are to celebrate children that have passed. There is the very first day of the cycle is a celebration of pets and animals that have passed. Leading up to the last 2 days are adults that have passed. I think the final day, November 2nd, is for adults. And there's all these different ways and all these different colorful, vibrant, and celebratory ways. It's not meant to be a bummer. It's not meant to be morbid or upsetting. It's just this wonderful reflection on the people that touched our lives, how they touched our lives, but the way that you celebrate these things. And Chronicle did a kid's book on this about a year ago, was about creating an ofrenda, an altar to your loved ones. You can make sugar skulls. There are recipes in here. Of course, we all know the wonderful sugar skull, the art of making sugar skulls. Also papel picado, which, oh, there they are. I turned right to it. You know these, the little cutouts. Very beautiful instructions on how to make these yourself. The book is not meant to be like a step-by-step tutorial. It's more like an overview and a celebration. She is Mexican American. She has spent over a decade returning to Mexico and traveling, meeting her relatives, and it's celebrating Dia de Muertos in different ways. The illustrations throughout the book are really, really beautiful. I love this style, gorgeous colors. And the connection here, too, is that Luisa owns a store in Brooklyn called Mexico in My Pocket. And it is a store full of Mexican handicrafts, artisanal items. I wonder if I can find a picture here of the inside of the store. It's incredible looking. Here she is in front of the store. It looks like something that could totally be in LA, or San Diego even. Vibrant and beautiful marigolds front and center. The book is just filled with reverence and respect and beauty, and as I like, plenty of skeletons and skulls. It's just colorful. It's really fun. Every spread you turn to is just something bold, bright, but then also celebratory and just remembering. I don't want to go on too long, but I like this little bit of this intro here. I think this captures what she's doing. And explains. Think of me as a guide and companion as I share my stories and experiences from these trips, what I have learned about the history and origins of Day of the Dead, how to build an altar, what each element of the altar means, and why they should be included. If you do decide to make an altar and celebrate Day of the Dead yourself, purchasing handmade crafts made by indigenous artisans from Mexico is one of the best ways you can help support the origins of this holiday. I believe that no one honors the dead like Mexican people, and I hope that my travels and stories will inspire you to take the time to pause, honor, and celebrate the deceased, no matter how busy life gets. This is out next Tuesday. It is a $40 hardcover, and I believe you will have 6 copies at the Brentwood store. So nice commitment. Thank you. Nice stack.
What a gorgeous, gorgeous book.
Love it.
And that really front and center of the Dia de Muertos display for sure. You've done such an amazing job presenting that and showing all of the things, Dave, that I'm just like thinking about it now and I have nothing to add, like like I normally do. I haven't seen that one in person yet. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'll have it soon.
Gorgeous, yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous book. Thank you so much, Dave. I love all of the Dia de Muertos books we've got today. Do you have another one, Julia? No.
We are going to stay in Mexico though for my next one.
All right.
Because my next one is Lotería Stories by Cynthia Pelayo. And it was previously published by a very, very small publisher called Polis Books. And then Union Square took it over. And Hachette just bought Union Square earlier this year. So this is the first season of Union Square's titles that I sold in. But this book highlighted, I actually have to shout out Sherry from from Roman's Books, who sort of alerted me to how well this had done for them with the small publisher. And now it's got this beautiful cover. It is a collection of 54 short stories based on the Mexican board game Lotería. So if you are, as we sort of settle into spooky season, this is a great sort of book to sit down with because it's short stories. You can sort of come and go out of it. The original small press version won the International Latino Book Award and was named one of the best horror books of 2023 that will scare you shitless by Esquire. So it's a good one. And yeah, each story is based on one of the cards from Lotería. So if you're familiar with Lotería, it's going to have some, I guess, called Easter egg, and sort of like, you're really going to understand. Even if you're not, it's going to sort of let you into this world. And it's a great horror collection. So yeah, this is Lotería by Cynthia Pelayo.
I'm so excited about this book, Julia. I can't wait. I'm a little apprehensive as well because, it's scary.
Yeah, I'm a weenie about scary things.
Yeah.
So I have to read them in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what it comes down to, right? I like most people do my reading like at in the evening or before I go to bed, which is not. So I'm a little apprehensive, but I'm so excited about it because I've been looking at it. I've seen the cover for a while, and I'm getting ready to dive in. So I'm obsessed with Lotería. So I love the idea of going through the cards like this. It's a very pleasing structure, I think. So super excited about this one. Is it on sale now? No, not yet, right?
It is. It comes out September 2nd, so next Tuesday.
Okay. Give this one a try. This one looks really good. So. Yeah. Thanks, Julia. All right, Dave, back to you.
Okay, I think there's a thread running through here. My next book is not about Mexico, but it is about death again. So this is like a little nougaty center to my picks today, is a little death nougat middle filling here. Both books are morbid in tone, but what this is actually, again, it's macabre, but it's also kind of sweet. Talking to My Father's Ghost, from cartoonist and illustrator, zine maker, and comics maker Alex Krokus. An Almost True Story is the subtitle. And this is maybe something new. Thank you, Julia. This is a really cool cover. Of course, referencing Nighthawks at the Diner.
I love it.
This is something new for Chronicle. It's not certainly not anything new in the publishing world, but in a graphic novel and a memoir, something with an emotional core, kind of aimed at adults. And and I have some stores that are very adept at selling this, and they have a customer that's entirely acclimated to the idea of an adult reading a graphic novel, or something emotional with an adult theme. And some stores that's maybe like a new venture, and they don't know. I mean, they may be like, maybe adults will like this. I do think adults will like this. What it is Alex Krokus has recast his entire family. These are really his relatives, by the way, on this family tree. As, if you can see this, his entire family are animals. It is a wonderful little menagerie. He is like a raccoon. His dad is an owl. His mom is also a raccoon. So he takes basically his father's passing and then turns it into these two-page vignettes and little spreads. It opens with his father having died, and then his father's ghost appears to him, and basically spends the next year hovering over him in his life, interacting with him, and in a nutshell, he basically learns more about his father through the afterlife and through the relation with his ghost than he did while his father was alive. And it gives him perspective on the passing. The book certainly addresses grief and sorrow, but it interjects it with a lot of lightheartedness. The little two-page kind of vignettes are very funny. They're very sweet. He goes on a road trip with his brother, who's like a jock. He interacts with his other relatives, all of whom have really wacky personalities. And it just takes something that could be heavy and could be a bummer, and because it is a bummer, and we all have experienced sorrow and loss, but he finds the humor in these situations, and he finds a way to kind of turn around the sadness into this like very breezy, light, and kind of really fun read. And I think it's a really beautiful book. I like this quote a lot from Sarah Anderson, creator of Sarah's Scribbles. Talking to my father's ghost expertly balances the pendulum swing of emotions, sometimes unbearable, sometimes hilarious, that comes with navigating grief. So something new and different for Chronicle, and something that I think is really heartfelt and a very sweet book.
Beautiful.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I know I know a few people are going through this right now, and for whom I think this would be a really great book to give, at a certain point when they're. But I am seeing a lot of books lately that are tackling grief in a more, not like a jokey way, but in a sort of a lighter way, and an easier, a more palatable kind of way of dealing with it or getting through it. Not joking your way out of it, but kind of sort of rising above, I guess, than being mired in the sadness. So this looks like a fantastic addition to that collection of books. I finished reading one recently, which will be out in a few weeks, and it's called Happy Death Club, and it's a collection of short essays of the author. Sort of as an archaeologist and examining death rituals in various cultures around the world, and then her whole family died, and it sort of gave her a different perspective. She talks about Dia de Muertos, and other things, and she's got sort of a lighter angle on it, but still there's the grief there that's being dealt with, and I think it's great, and it's a great kind of book to share with other people as well. So thanks, Dave. I think we're on the special bonus book round now. Is that right?
Yes. My special bonus book is a middle grade book. And this is, it's not in the death, we're moving maybe a little bit out of death, but it's still weird. And in fact, is called The Weirdies by Michael Buckley. This is the author of the Sisters Grimm, so he is very much in that sort of weird middle grade fun um, uh, area. This one, it's like it sort of is like the Addams Family meets a series of unfortunate events.
Mhm.
It is about these three triplets who they're orphans, and they go to live in this orphanage called, sorry, I have to read it because I don't want to get it wrong because it's so good, is Our Lady of the Perpetual Side-Eye Orphanage. And so um, it's like it is totally like fun, weird. This these triplets who sort of, the main trajectory of the book is that they're sort of looking for family, and they end up finding a family when they've lost both of their parents. But they are just an absolute delight of triplets. They're 10-year-old triplets named Barnacle, Melancholy, and Garlic, Weirdy. So you know the kind of book it is. If you look at the interior, there's a lot of illustrations, so it's a little bit the sort of reading level is a little bit at the like Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Dogman, sort of that sort of reading level, where it is a chapter book, it is a readable book, but there's a lot of imagery in it. So to help kids who are maybe a little bit younger in their middle grade reading lives, it's an utter delight. It is there are more planned, and there is talk of television and film. So I know that you will hopefully be seeing the Weirdies elsewhere as well, but just very fun. It is the kind of book that I would have absolutely eaten up as a kid and couldn't wait for the next one. So yeah.
I'm so glad you talked about a middle grade reader. You know how I feel about those. I feel like middle grade is that super sweet spot. So much potential there, because there's such great readers in that category. And for those who don't know, middle readers are generally in that they're just post the like 8, 9, 10, year old, and then but they're before YA kind of starts at 14. But there's such a range of readers in that group there at the end. They're often really high level readers, like they can read very well and very sophisticated writing, but content wise and subject wise, they're still on the younger side, and a lot of YA is pretty heavy going in terms of subject. So it's kind of, they want, and they are picking out their own books at this point rather than having parents pick them out for them. Still looking for themselves in different kinds of books. So it's great. There's so much opportunity for writers there, and there's been some fantastic, and that's not me, is it? There's been some fantastic books in that middle grade reader section, and this looks like another fantastic addition to that. So. Thanks, Julia. All right, Dave.
Okay, last book.
Wrap it up for the day.
I've also got a kid's book to talk about, and I think Julia can relate to this. Every season, you have that one book in your bag that gets the best response, or that gets buyers the most happy or excited or complimentary. And that book this season for me, it's always a kid's book, is the absolutely adorable Shibu's Tale from Levine Queerdo, our wonderful, wonderful imprint of kids' books that we publish. This comes to us from Tess Thomas. She wrote it. The art is by a Japanese illustrator, Kemwei Fong. The cover is textured. I make everybody touch the tail because it has a nice little amazing texture to it. And basically, this is Shibu, and he has a lot of feelings and emotions. Shibu, as you can see, has a big puffy tail, and Shibu finds it impossible to hide his emotions. When he's happy, His tail gives hug after hug. Hugging a carton of milk, when the milk is delivered, he flips out, and he can't hide his excitement. When he feels mad, all of his hairs stand up on end. Boom. And then when he feels scared, the tail protects him from his fears. So basically he notices, well, hang on. He feels a lot of feelings, and here's an entire spread of all these different feelings and all these different ridiculous emotions that come out of Shibu's tail. So he notices that because his tail is so expressive that he's always the center of attention, and everybody notices what's going on. And he starts to feel very self-conscious and very alert and very aware of how his tail gives away all the time what he's feeling. And he notices that all the other cats keep their emotions to themselves. Shibu wanted to blend in. He didn't want to be in the spotlight. So he tries to hold his emotions in. He stops expressing his emotions. When the milk truck shows up, which should be, absolute elation, he keeps it in. Look at that tail. No expression whatsoever. After he breaks his favorite toy, he tries to hide his anger in. But amazingly, it only makes him more and more angry to not let the feelings out. During a lightning storm, he pretends that he's not scared, but he only gets more and more afraid when he doesn't show his emotions and his feelings. So he comes to realize that makes everything explode. And here is his tail turning into a giant tidal wave of feelings and emotions that have been pent up. So it is a book about expressing yourself, feeling good about expressing yourself, and not bottling anything in. I like this passage. He was beginning to understand that all feelings, even the happy ones to the angry ones, and even the in-between ones, were meant to be shared. Now Shibu knows that he feels his best when he expresses what's on his mind and in his heart. Can you even believe this book? Every time I pull this out of my bag, people light up. I'm not kidding. I think every single store took this book this season. People fell in love with it. Shibu's Tale. This is out next Tuesday. I'll double check that. But wow, absolutely adorable.
How sweet is this book? You just sold everybody watching a copy. I think this is Julia would die for Shibu, and so would Joey. It's how sweet. It's gorgeous. I'm not surprised that you're getting such great feedback
It's
on
very
this
simple.
one. Yeah, very
And
simple,
clean.
but just so
Yeah.
cute and such a sweet message as well. Adorable. Thank you, Dave. I think that's a great way to wrap up our Elevenses for today, actually. What a bunch of great books. Thank you so much for just always bringing it. I know you have a lot to choose from, a lot of great books to choose from, but they're wonderful every week. So thank you, Julia Callahan from Hachette. Thank you, Dave Ehrlich from Chronicle. Thanks, Joey, behind the scenes, posting all of those links in the chat. And thanks everybody for coming on over and joining us for Elevenses. Today we're going to be back again, believe it or not, next week. Wednesday at 11 on our wonderful little program here. You can find all of the information about everything here on our website. I just want to repeat that, www.dieselbookstore.com. So check everything out over there, including a replay of this episode. But please come back and join us again next week. We'll be back with more reps and booksellers and books and fun stuff to discuss. So in the meantime, everybody, have a great week. Happy reading. We will see you next week. Thanks, everyone.